Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're just going to do a few quick examples on the unit conversion between imperial system units and SI units in the metric system. Example 1 asks how many yards are in 5 kilometers. Now again, there's so many different ways to go about this. I'm just going to choose to start off by reminding you that 1 mile contains 1,760 yards, which we're going to be looking for in the end, and that kilometers and miles are really similar in nature because we have the conversion rate that 1 mile is 1.609 kilometers. Now, your textbook might use 1.6, that's fine, that's what you want to use. I'm just going to go a little bit more precise and use the full 1.609, just because. So, let's start off by converting kilometers into miles. I'm going to use unit analysis because to me, letting the units lead the way is the easiest way to go about doing these things. So, we'll write 5 kilometers to start, and we know that we want to convert the kilometers into miles. And so now, when we ask ourselves which unit goes on top and on the bottom, well, it's obvious. The kilometers in here have to cancel out, and since the 5 kilometers are in a numerator here, because this is really the same as 5 kilometers over 1, if you want to think of it in that way, we don't write it because it's redundant, but these 5 kilometers are on top, like there's nothing, they're not a denominator, and so if they're going to cancel out, these ones do have to be in the denominator, okay? And so we put in that value in our denominator so that it cancels out with the kilometers up top, and the miles just kind of come along for the ride and pop themselves in the numerator. And so now, since our units work out so nicely, we know that we're on the right track, and we can just compute the numbers. We can use a calculator for that. So we have 5 times 1 divided by 1.609, and you can do that with a calculator if you'd like. That is 3.1, let's say, to 1 decimal place, and so we have roughly 3.1 miles. Now, that's only step 1, but we're almost done because we know that 1 mile contains 1,760 yards, and so if we have 3.1 of those miles, all we have to do is multiply through. And so that means that our number of yards is going to be 3.1 miles worth, and again, each mile is 1,760 yards, and so we can say that's 3.1 times 760 yards, and if you go ahead and multiply that through, it'll be 5280 plus 176, so that'll be 56 yards, I believe that's the case. Yeah, let's say that's it. You can check it with the calculator if you're not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's it. And now we're done. Okay, so 2 steps. The first one going from SI units over to imperial units, and then converting between imperial units from miles to yards. And we're done. Okay. Example 2, we're going to go 2 miles into centimeters. So this time we're going to go from imperial into SI units, but it's the same kind of idea. So we're going to have 2 miles. Let's start things off by converting the miles into kilometers since we've already established that conversion. Now we have miles starting us off. So analogous to how we have kilometers canceling out in our first step here, we need to have miles canceling out in our first step in example 2. And so this time we'll have 1 mile on the bottom and 1.69 kilometers on top, because this time we want to end up with kilometers, because once we're in the metric system, that's fairly straightforward to convert over to centimeters later on, and we know we need the miles to cancel out, and so they have to be on the top and on the bottom to cancel each other out, and so the kilometers go along for the ride, and now we can just compute the numbers. 2 times 1.609, that's going to be 3.218. Again, the number of decimals we're keeping is kind of arbitrary at this point, but we're gonna go with what we have here. So we find that we have 3.218 kilometers worth, and we know that in our metric system, which is so convenient, we have 1 kilometer being 1,000 meters, right? Kilo means is the prefix for 1,000, and then of course 1 meter is 100 centimeter, right? Cent in French means 100, so 100 centimeters is 1 meter. And so now, if we want to go from kilometers to centimeters, I'm going to use unit analysis again to kind of show how convenient it is. So we'll have 3.218 kilometers times, let's convert kilometers to meters first. The kilometers are on top, just like they were in example 1. We need them to cancel out, and so I'll put 1 kilometer on the bottom, and its equivalency in 1,000 meters on top. That way the kilometers cancel out. But now we don't want to end with meters, we want to end with centimeters, right? And so let's do the same thing, but now with meters to centimeters. So now we have the meters on top, and so we know we'll need them to be in the bottom here. So 1 meter is equivalent to 100 centimeters, right? And so that makes our meter units cancel out. And now we're ready to compute our final answer. So we have 3.218 times 1,000 divided by 1 does nothing, times another 100 divided by 1 again does nothing at all. And so really we have 3.218 times 100,000, which is going to be 3218. So the 3 decimal places are going to kind of cancel out, multiplying with the power of 10 that has 3 zeros, if you want to think of it that way. And now we'll have 2 additional zeros at the end of our final answer because of the multiplication by 100. And so all in all, we have 321,800 centimeters inside of 2 miles. And there we have it. Okay. I hope it helps. I hope you're starting to get more of a sense of comfort using unit analysis. Again, unit analysis is such a practical skill to develop and use. You're going to see it a lot in your science classes as you get older and older. And I do think that it does make things more straightforward. So if you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, please do leave a comment below. And thanks for watching.